One of the most significant reasons why a priest may not become a bishop is the strict qualifications set by the church. That's why in this segment we'll break down all those reasons for you. And the number one, as you said, is the strict qualifications. You see, if a priest does not attain the age of 35 years of age, he cannot become a bishop. That is according to the canon law. Therefore, that sets a barrier to all those priests under the age of 35 years who may have maybe the aspiration of becoming a bishop, that you first must attain the age of 35 years. Secondly, is that you must have been ordained to the presbyterate for 5 years. Yeah, we have no problem with you. You have 35 years of age, but have you attained at least 5 years of priesthood? If no, then becoming a bishop remains that just a dream. The third qualifications that you must meet is that you must possess a doctorate, licentiate, or at least be an expert in the sacred scripture, theology, or the canon law. You see, those are the basic, subjects of the church, and you must possess at least one of them in the level of a doctorate or a licentiate or become an expert. And you see, this particular third qualification is actually a bigger barrier to most priests because it is you don't study these courses under your own discretion. It is under the discretion of your local ordinary and the wisdom of your local bishop. So if the local bishop decides that you are not he is not ready to allow you to go and study, then you cannot study, and then it poses that particular barrier of you becoming a bishop. The second reason why not every priest actually becomes a bishop is because of the limited recommendations. You see, candidates are typically recommended by their local bishops and the apostolic nuncio to the pope. So if a priest's name is not proposed, they will not be considered. And what actually happens is that there is a common list called Atanas. Atanas is a list that is composed of three names. These three names are actually names of priests of a particular diocese. And these names are written by the local ordinary who sits down in secret and actually looks at all the priests in his diocese and actually thinks that, you see, so and so can actually make a good bishop. And he writes them down. Then from there, they actually go, all the bishops in a particular country, they will sit down in a common council and then they will give suggestions to the apostolic nuncio. This is a process that takes place after every 3 years. So imagine, take for example a diocese with 200 priests. Just a hypothetical example, 200 priests, and in one of these particular sessions, the bishop only picks 3 out of the 200, and this process can only be repeated after 3 years or when circumstances actually suggest it. This may be when we have an election of a new diocese, or when maybe a bishop actually dies, abruptly, or some sort of stuff like that. So just imagine how long it will take for some people to actually become a bishop if this is a process that is going to be taken. So it does not matter with your qualifications, because you might even have 20 of them qualified, but the only 3 are going to be recommended. So that limited recommendation, that factor actually contributes to the reason why not every priest will become a bishop. The third reason is the intense vetting process. Well, fine enough, you are now qualified, you have 35 years of age, you have been the 5 years in the service, you have the doctorate, you have made it to the turners list, you are now the eye, you've now made it. What about the vetting process? It's one very intense vetting process because the Vatican conducts an exhaustive investigation of a candidate's life, the reputation, the capabilities, of that particular priest. And therefore, actually, the canon law provides some very, very nitty gritties to be checked on a particular priest. One of them is a solid faith. Does he have solid faith in the Catholic Church? What about the morals? What about the piety? Is he a man of wisdom? Is he a man zeal for the souls? etc. These are things that actually contribute to this particular vetting process. And it's so funny because there is actually no interview for you to become a bishop, but the interview is your past self. How have you been interacting with the other clergy? Because they are going to be asked those questions, although in secret. How does the other clergy in the diocese or in other places actually view you? What about the laity? How do they see you as a priest? How have you been performing your duties? Are you someone they can actually admire to become a bishop? That's something very critical. And if any issue arises and it is any unresolved issue, however small it is, then it poses a barrier for you to become a bishop. And that explains why even sometimes, again, these particular priests don't become a bishop. The fourth reason why not every priest will become a bishop is the limited positions. Come to think of it, how many dioceses are there in the world? Of course, there are very few than the priest. Actually, according to Wikipedia, is that we have 407,872 priests. According that is at least by 2023, versus 3,000 actual dioceses. These are the non-titular dioceses that have a substantive bishops in the world. Of course, I know we have slightly higher bishops because a higher number of bishops, that is around 5,000, because we have the Quartet bishops, emeritus bishops, and bishops who are taking other roles in the Vatican other than being a substantive bishop in a diocese. But come to think of it, how how long will it take for these priests to actually fill these particular positions, these 3,000 actual dioceses? I mean, it's not it's not even realistic, because I mean, we are not here, we are not in the world to stay, we are not here forever. And this number either increases or sometimes reduces, but this is a number that you cannot really you know promise that you will all become a bishop. And of course, that again makes this particular process very, very highly selective. Here's the reason why not every priest will become a bishop, is that not every priest is called. You see, just like it has been in the past. I mean, we have even have saints who are priests, who are not bishop, and therefore becoming a bishop should not be confused to, if you don't become a bishop, should not be really checked like a sin, or you're not worthy, or you are not even up to the task. It's just that not every priest is called to that particular position, and as a matter of fact, some priests are even contented in serving in their current roles. They don't even want this particular position. That's why some of them actually go on to decline to take up this particular role. That is, seems to us is a very, very nice role in the church. And therefore, that again is another reason. It might be just because of their own willingness that they don't want to become a bishop. The sixth reason why not every priest become a bishop is a geographical balance. You see, the church has a tendency of ensuring a global representation of bishops. And sometimes they will end up prioritizing, priests from underrepresented regions over others. So to ensure that the church is universal, the church has, set a good pace for the whole world. And therefore, again, that sets a barrier to some of the priests, because some dioceses actually have some priests have a tendency of giving very many bishops, but again, because of geographical balance, that again is limited. And the final reason why not every priest will become a bishop is the specific needs of the diocese. You see, a bishop must match the pastoral, cultural, and administrative needs of a particular diocese. You might have met all other qualifications, but do you match the pastoral, the cultural, and administrative needs of a particular diocese before you are made the bishop of that diocese? Can you be able to integrate in that particular community? Can you be able to actually be part of them? How easy is it for you to integrate? That's a question that the mother church actually asks itself before it makes a priest a bishop. And sometimes it provides, or it actually proves to be a barrier, because some priests cannot be able to integrate well, or they don't match to the specific needs of the diocese. Not that they are not worthy, but because of that particular diocese, the specific needs, then they actually, don't match. And therefore, that again makes, or it narrows down the selection and kicks out so many priests in the list. Finally, before we conclude, do you think the current process of selecting bishops is actually fair and effective? Do you agree that not all priests should aspire to become bishops? In your opinion, what makes a good leader in the church? Let me get to hear some of your comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down there. See you next time.